Today we are launching a special series called Heroes on the Home Front, where we spotlight the men and women serving our nation and their families here at home. Every Friday on this program, Outnumbered Overtime, between now and July 4th, we will feature different military families from each branch of service until we run out of weeks, and then we'll continue to do it beyond that if we have to, and ask them to share their stories and as proud Americans. Today we welcome a young couple. Just 21 years old, these guys are, only married for 6 months, stationed at Norfolk Naval Base in Virginia. U.S. Navy Petty Officer 3rd Class Jacob Howell and his wife, Meg Howell. Great to have you both.
Thank you.
I want to talk with you and kind of peel back the veil a little bit on what it's like to live the military life. You guys are very young. You made a decision to get married very young because of your feeling that the military puts you into a position to make some serious decisions very early on. Talk to me about that. And Meg, you can start.
I think it's something that if you would have asked me 5 years ago where I would have seen my life at this time, I wouldn't have ever guessed that I would be a military wife at 21. Obviously, it's not typical for a 21-year-old to be married nowadays. So I think just the military in general, you have to be able to deal with more mature things, and it requires you to grow up a little bit faster than I think a usual 21-year-old in college would be. They would be dealing with different things at this age.
And Jacob, I would imagine that having her by your side and you facing deployment also is the kind of strength that many civilian people can't even imagine that you would need.
Yes, ma'am. It can be very challenging, but being able to adapt is one thing that you definitely need in the military, even in a marriage life.
And tell me a little bit about some of the lessons that you guys are already gleaning from military life. And Jacob, I'll start with you first.
Definitely the trustworthiness. You need to be able to communicate. You definitely have to have things in line, because even though we go on deployments, you can also go on a detachment, which can be 2 weeks at a time, but they can come up every now and then. And with that coming up so often, you have to have things in line to be able to make sure that your spouse back home has what she needs to be comfortable and safe.
But I understand, too, Meg, that you love this life. What do you want people to know about living as a military spouse?
I think I would definitely just always remember that you're not alone. And I do. It's something that has taught us a lot of lessons. It's made me a stronger person because of the things I've had to deal with on my own. Coming from a small town, moving to a huge area, Naval Base Norfolk is the largest naval base, or actually base in the world. So there are the area around it is huge. So having to just navigate that by yourself without Jake being here is definitely something that has made me a stronger person.
Jacob and Meg, thank you for sharing part of your military story. Part of our Proud American campaign on social media, too. You'll see me tweeting and social media about that.